How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Fireside Yankees. My name is Sam. This is Nick here with me today. We're going to be talking about the Yankees bullpen. The Yankees re-signed Tommy Kahnle just about a month ago to a 2-year, $11.5 million deal. And this is not a Mets podcast, so unfortunately we cannot talk about Carlos Correa and the entire free agency saga. That just concluded this morning with him finally going back to the Minnesota Twins. So I'm really sad that we don't just get to, kind of take a dump on them. But it's unfortunate, man. We're here to talk about the Yankees bullpen today. Nick, how you doing, man? It's good to be with you today.
It's good to be with you as well, Sam. I'm great, honestly. I mean, look, you know as well as anyone I love to do my chirping. So, Mets, what happened? Correa is a Twin. You hit the nail on the head. Like, again, that whole saga was probably the craziest free agent signing saga I've seen with my own two eyes. Like, everyone talked about the A-Rod deal when he, opted out, and then the Yankees gave him a new deal. That in my opinion, that was, nothing compared to this. Correa had, 3 separate $200 million plus deals that he had signed and agreed upon before going back on them because of physical issues. But we're talking about Tommy Tight Pants today, Tommy Kahnle. I'm hyped about it because I'm a big Tommy Kahnle fan. And I remember when we got him for Robo back in, what was it? Was it 2017 or was it 2018 we got him?
2017.
That was still one of my favorite trades the Yankees have completed. And at the time, everyone was really sad to see Blake Rutherford go because we thought he was going to be the next big thing. And now, I don't even know where Blake Rutherford's playing baseball. So, needless to say, the Yankees won that deal, and Tommy is back in pinstripes, baby. I'm hyped for this episode, my guy.
Yeah, I am too, and it's really, with this Yankees bullpen, and it's just another thing to allude to with this depth. And even with the starting pitching thing, in the playoffs last year was really weird, and we talked about it last week. They really were only comfortable with 3 starters. And with that, in turn, that then limited the bullpen severely. We saw a guy like Wandy Peralta who had to pitch all 5 games in the ALDS because we literally had nobody to lean on at that point. We were literally using every single one of our pitchers. And then in game 1 of the ALCS, we had to lean on Clark Schmidt in a high-leverage situation, ended up losing the game because they put him in. Who knows how that game could have gone if it was a different guy in that spot. But Tommy Kahnle, man, it's weird because left the Yankees, ended up going to the Dodgers, was injured, and then only threw in 13 games last year, but put up significant numbers, 2.84 ERA. His FIP is a little, it's interesting, 4.13 FIP. So, but I'm so happy to have this guy back in the clubhouse. And with this guy, I am super excited for the relationship that he's going to have with the clubhouse, especially with a guy like Harrison Bader. Harrison Bader, who brings all this goddamn energy into the lineup. And now with Tommy Kahnle, I think that's going to be like a dream duo. I think they're going to become best friends off rip. And the content that we're going to be able to get from those guys this season is going to be so goddamn funny, dude.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. I'm excited for it. Tommy, again, there's that one montage of all of Tommy Kahnle's moments when he was with the Yankees, and it was just behind the scenes stuff. Him walking around being like, Chad, yelling at Chad Green. He's easily one of the best personalities to have in the locker room, in the clubhouse. And I think that he's going to also kind of really mesh well with the other bullpen arms. I've been saying this since the moment we signed Kahnle. Back in November, I did a piece saying the Yankees should bring back Kahnle. And I think he and Ron the Don Marinaccio are going to develop this bond between each other because of how good their changeups are. And I think they're just going to be bouncing ideas off of each other, sitting in the clubhouse, showing each other how they throw their changeups. And it's going to be something that we haven't seen in a little bit. The Yankees have always been known as this close-knit group of guys, and you see that on the bench all the time. Look at Garrett Cole and Nestor Cortez. Garrett Cole is probably the funniest guy, without trying to be funny, on the team. Wandy Peralta, we mentioned him. Wandy is hilarious. All of these personalities coming together is going to create such camaraderie, and I'm so hyped to see how this team meshes and works next year. He and Bader, like you said, I think that'll be the tandem going forward. Bader just loves to have fun. That dude's just an absolute joy to be around in the clubhouse from what I've heard. And Tommy's the same way. So off the field, Tommy Kahnle's going to have a big impact on this team. And then on the field, or I guess I should say on the bump when he takes the bump, he's going to be as good as he's been. We saw last year the Dodgers. You mentioned he only pitched 13 games, 12.2 innings, but he had his stuff back. And you saw he threw that fastball less than he ever had. I think he only threw his fastball at 23% of the time. And now we've found out that he's learning a new pitch. What do you have to say about that, Sam? What do you think about his new sinker two-seam hybrid that he's going to be rolling out?
The sinker is, one of the more elite pitches in this game now. I feel like we're more often than not seeing more pitchers start to develop to use a sinker as compared to his four-seam fastball, because his four-seam fastball is not good. So if he's going to be able to use that sinker, and there are pitchers in this league who have serious movement on that goddamn sinker, like, it's going to be legit. And I'm super excited that he's going to be able to work that into his pitching mold. And with this team, man, like, I think it's really understated how significant the Yankees, like, bullpen depth is. I guess they're going to roll out Clay Holmes as the closer next year. I personally think it should be Jonathan Loáisiga. But you have Clay Holmes, Jonathan Loáisiga, you got Wandy Peralta. We're not really sure what's going to happen with Michael King. I think, was it an elbow or a shoulder thing that he has going on? We're not sure when he's going to pitch.
Yeah, he avoided Tommy John, so he's probably going to miss the first month or two if I had to guess. But he has resumed throwing. So it's like, in theory, Michael King shouldn't miss that much time. So we should have like 5 or 6 elite guys because we got Wandy, we got Ron, we got Tommy Thick Boy Tight Pants Kahnle over there. Like this bullpen is probably. I posted the other day saying the Yankees have gotten significantly better this offseason than last year, and people don't believe me. The bullpen, sure, we just added Kahnle, but you have to remember once Michael King's healthy, we're going to have him back. We have no Aroldis Chapman, so that's addition by subtraction. The only real loss that I think is going to be kind of not difficult to work around, but that is going to be interesting to see what they do with, is Chad Green. Because Chad Green for so long was such an integral part of that bullpen, and then last year he went down after the first month, and we were able to supplement him with other guys. When Green went down, we saw Marinaccio step up in a big way, who I love, and I think we're going to see some other guys step up. And we still have pieces that we may be looking to move. Like Schmidt may be on the move. Herman may be on the move because he's out of options. Greg Weissert may be on the move. Like, there's still so much to happen left in this offseason that I'm really excited about this bullpen, the way it's constructed. Because, like you said, we have so much depth and so many pieces that we can look to move some of those guys for offensive help to help round out this lineup. But Tommy, dude, I can't help but feel like Tommy Kahnle is going to be that 6th, 7th inning guy for us. And that's perfectly fine by me. Last year, we saw in a limited sample size, Tommy was getting more ground balls than he had ever gotten before in his career. I believe his ground ball percentage was like 67, 68%, which is the highest it's been in the past 6, 7 years for him. And we also saw him start throwing that four-seam fastball less than he ever had. He almost went away from it entirely and went strictly changeup the entire time because his changeup is so damn good. And now, like we talked about a little bit ago, he's adding that sinker. Like, I can't help but feel like we're going to have like 4, 5, maybe 6 of the best soft contact ground ball inducing relievers in the game.
Yeah, 68% ground ball rate. Absolutely elite. And mind you, it's in a limited sample size, but for him to transform that into his game, it's absolutely incredible. He had his best season last year since 2017. 2017, he put up 2.59 ERA. He was steady in 2019, 3.67, but still, it's just another piece to add. And, you know, another guy that we kind of addition by subtraction with is Zach Britton. Zach Britton was another guy that was on a massive contract. And I feel like with Zach Britton and Aroldis Chapman, man, if they were healthy and they were in that bullpen, I always felt that like they felt that they had to pitch them just because of how much money that they were making. And that sucked because they were not producing for us over the past 2 seasons. Zach Britton was obviously hurt, so there's nothing we could really do about that. But Aroldis Chapman legit had a velo drop off, and like in the most significant way, which is absolutely
terrible
unreal.
at everything.
Yeah,
He's just bad at everything.
Yeah, so what I wanted to ask you is, do you think that this unit is, you know, the best in baseball, or at least a top 3 unit in baseball? Because these guys are sick, man, and it's deep. And, you know, another guy, like, you've been talking about Ron Marinaccio a lot. Ron Marinaccio did not get ample opportunity last year. He spent a lot of time in AAA when he really should have been up with the big league club. He was incredible for the team. Like midsummer, then they dropped him down to AAA, and then they obviously ended up bringing him back up, and he was hurt for the ALCS, which sucked, so we didn't get to see him in the playoffs at all. But do you think this is like a top unit in baseball? Because I think it is.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, even looking at last year's unit as a whole, they were 3rd in ERA. I believe they were also top 6 in FIP. They finished 5th in reliever WAR as a team, and they got better this offseason in their bullpen. Again, it may not look like they've gotten better because they've realistically only added Tommy Kahnle into the bullpen, but like you said, the addition by subtraction. Zach Britton came up, and he was very clearly injured and didn't have his stuff, and they still pitched him in a couple of games, and he was not good. Doofus botched every chance he possibly had and injured Mike King and Ron Marinaccio in the process. So you get rid of those 2 guys, which no offense to both of them, they're at the latter halves of their career. Well, actually, no, fuck that. All offense in the world to Aroldis Chapman. You suck as a human being. But Michael King, I felt so bad for when he got injured because he had to come into the game with bases loaded because Aroldis couldn't do the job, and he got injured. We will not have any situations like that this year. Of course, injuries you can never plan for. But what you can plan for is proper bullpen construction and management. So I will easily say that this bullpen's top 3 in baseball next year. Top 1, that's definitely a stretch. And anytime Yankees fans say the Yankees are best at something, you better watch your neck because people are coming for you. But I think the Yankees bullpen will be the best bullpen in baseball. I think the Yankees pitching staff as a whole will be the best in baseball. I mean, look, we lost Taillon and we got Rodon. We lost Monty last year, and we replaced him with Montas. And everyone's down on Montas, but I think he's going to really bounce back this year. He'll finally be healthy. He'll be able to have a whole season in pinstripes under his belt, and he'll be able to actually get in the lab a little bit with Matt Blake some more. So I don't think it's crazy to say this bullpen's the best in baseball. What about you? Do you think it's the best?
I think it's definitely top 3. I mean, there's, other competing teams that you have out there. The Astros will always have an elite staff. I think the Mets are still sick. They ended up bringing back Adam Ottavino, former Yankee. Braves are sick. It's weird because they let Kenley Jansen walk, but then they traded for Raisel Iglesias, who fell off a cliff after signing the extension with the Angels, but then turned into a god again with the Braves. So it's really tough to say, man. I think it's definitely a top 3 unit. And, like I alluded to with the depth pieces here, we're going to be able to roll into a playoff series and pitch all 5 of our guys, like all 5 of our starters. So that then, takes severe pressure off of the relievers. And we're not going to have to throw 5 relievers in a single game and then have to move to the next game. And it's like, oh, my God, who do we have? And that was a really rough situation that the Yankees were in the playoffs this year. And I just think that this is going to be an elite unit that will end up really pushing this team to the maximum extent at this point. And I'm really excited for these guys, man. I'm super pumped.
It's gonna be a great season. Again, Yankees fans love to hate on what the Yankees do more than any other fan base in baseball. It's pretty crazy. But as a Yankee fan, I think we can both agree that this offseason has been a really solid offseason. Everyone wants the Yankees to go out there and spend $700 million on players. And if we're being honest, they basically did that. They signed Judge and Rodon to a combined $600 million worth of contracts. So to say Hal's not spending money and he doesn't care about winning is just bullshit at this point. Look at what he's done this offseason. I know Judge wasn't a signing, it was just retaining him. But had we missed out on Judge and had he signed with the Giants, we probably would have gotten involved with Correa, and then we would have had this whole fiasco that we were dealing with. And for the past month, it would have been nothing but pain. Because it would have been is he healthy? Are we going to get him? Is he going to be on a 5-year, 6-year, 7-year deal? Is there going to be guaranteed money? And we didn't have to worry about any of that because we were able to lock down our guy. And we were able to get good pieces alongside him. We kept Rizzo. We got Kahnle to come back. And Kahnle also, as in the title of this episode will say, Kahnle took less money from the Yankees to return to New York. Boston offered him more money, apparently the most money he had gotten offered out of all teams on the market. And he said, nah, I'm good. Thanks, guys. No, I'm fine. I don't want to go out there and play with Christian Arroyo as my second baseman. I'd much rather have Gleyber Torres behind me picking it, flipping it to Oswald Peraza at short. This team is, the way it's constructed, I 100% believe that it's substantially better than last year's. And I know there aren't a lot of big offensive pieces we've added other than retaining the services of some guys. But having healthy players is always the biggest thing for the Yankees. If we can get 130 or 140 games out of Stanton, you did a great episode on Stanton where you talked about getting 140 games out of Big G would be an ideal season. If we can get that out of him and have a healthy DJ LeMahieu, what's stopping the Yankees from being the best team in the AL? I don't think anything.
I love what you brought up about them spending money. Because now that the Correa deal's off the books, right? Because originally it was, oh my God, Steve Cohen spent $800 million in guaranteed contracts this offseason. Right now it's down to $500. The Yankees got to spend some more money than the Mets did, which is kind of crazy.
I thought Steve Cohen ran New York.
Because that Correa money comes off the books, and I think it was $800 million, but the Yankees in turn then guarantee more money. It's $20 million more, which granted, like you said, they brought back Judge, and that's kind of you're just re-signing your guy. You're not really adding, but still at the same time, they're going out, they're spending money. They paid their guy, and they got Rodon, and they made this team better. They made this team better. And as Yankees fans, man, we want to come to every offseason and we want the Correa. And last year we wanted, Trevor Story and everybody. We wanted every single shortstop on the goddamn market. Yep. But you just couldn't do it, man, with the prospects that we have right now. And I just think that they're really set for success. And I like what they've built here. outside of the, IKF Donaldson thing, which I think you and I can both agree that we both just absolutely hate to this day.
No,
really liked
MVP
it.
MVP season 2020.
Really liked it at first. Really liked it at first,
Same.
man, because JD was sick, bro. JD was sick in 2021. Fell off a cliff, and then IKF is IKF, so I really just hope he's not at shortstop this year.
I could see IKF at third. I could see Peraza at short. Volpe getting called up. I mean, you talked about it before we recorded this episode. Fangraphs already has Volpe projected for what, like 300 at bats, 300
PAs, yeah.
Like that. For all we know, Volpe could be up on this team in like May. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if it's like, all right, we're going to give you a month in AAA to see if you can adjust quickly, and then we may just call you up. Because at this point, Volpe is a top 5 prospect in all of baseball. Mm. So you can't just keep letting him, sit down there and marinate. He's not a fine steak. You got to let this kid get his opportunities and chances. And if we give him those opportunity and chances, with the bullpen and rotation we have, it should make their job so much easier on the defensive side of things as well. People mentioned for Jameson Taillon, I believe he got the most run support in baseball last year.
Yeah.
And he was pretty solid. He was pretty good. But you look at what this team's going to do defensively, and I think that this team could be one of the best defensive teams in baseball. Fully healthy Harrison Bader. Oswaldo Cabrera in left field most likely. Aaron Judge back to his natural position where he's a top 5, top 4 defender in right. And a new revamped infield with the pick god of scoops, Rizzo at first. JD and DJ likely playing a lot of third, and they're both 2 of the best defensive third basemen in baseball. And then the middle infield of the kids. Like, this team, I just don't know how you can't say it hasn't gotten better. And this episode was about the bullpen and Kahnle, and that's just one of the many pieces of the puzzle. This bullpen will be better than it was last year. We will have healthier guys. We mentioned it the entire episode. We will be missing some of the guys that were dead weight. And we'll be promoting some of the younger guys as well. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Carson Coleman come up at some point. And he's a really solid reliever down in AAA as well. So it's like the Yankees have the pieces to make it work this year and to make things happen. And I'm not going to sit here and say Yankees World Series champions 2023 because it's always hard to do that when you still have the Astros in the AL. But the Yankees are doing all the right things as of right now. Once we get if we get a true left fielder, if the Yankees complete a Brian Reynolds trade and we hang on to a Volpe or a Dominguez, I'm not saying both because we'd have to lose one of them. But if we hang on to one of them, this offseason's an A+.
Yeah. My closing thoughts is just simply this episode is about addition by subtraction. That's literally what this bullpen is. It's literally addition by subtraction with Chapman and with Britton, and now you get Kahnle back. And there are people that call out for more lefties in this bullpen because there's only one lefty in this bullpen. It's literally only Wandy Peralta. Now that Lucas Licky is now an Atlanta Brave,
which I 120 innings.
You know what? I will say I do want to shout out to Lucas Licky. Lucas Licky, 2.84 ERA, career ERA as a Yankee. Thank you for your service. Solid long relief guy in those low leverage situations. I will miss Lucas Licky personally, even though he was really bald and he had a really nice mustache, though, in turn. So I do want to shout out Lucas Licky. This bullpen, addition by subtraction. Guys, please let us know in the comments down below how you feel about this Yankees bullpen going into 2023. Let us know how you think Tommy Kahnle is going to be in 2023 because that boy with the tight pants, he's coming back hot. Please don't forget to like, comment, and
ones and tighter ones for him. Do you think we could get like an extra small pair of pants for him?
And listen,
the Robbie Ray pants.
Listen, I'm a guy that has bigger legs, so maybe I could toss him some pants. We'll talk about it, bro.
There we go.
Maybe I'll get on the phone with Tommy, dude. I'll get on the phone with Tommy.
Can someone give me Tommy's representatives?
No, that's my boy now, dude. I guess I need his agent. I'm gonna call his ass up immediately. Guys, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.